He came home for his daughter, but she wasn't waiting for him. The first thing Daniel noticed when he stepped off the bus was the cold. Not the kind of cold he had become used to during his deployment. This was different. This was home. The wind smelled like rain and gasoline. Cars moved slowly through the streets, their headlights reflecting off the wet pavement. People walked past him carrying coffee, talking on their phones, laughing about ordinary things. Ordinary things. Daniel had almost forgotten what ordinary felt like. He stood on the sidewalk with a small military duffel bag over his shoulder. 2 years. 2 years away from home. 2 years of missed birthdays, missed holidays, missed phone calls, and thousands of miles between him and the people he loved. But there was one person he had thought about every single day. His daughter Lily. She was 6 years old when he left. Now she was 8. Daniel pulled his phone out of his pocket and looked at the wallpaper. It was an old picture of Lily sitting on his shoulders at the beach. She was laughing. Daniel smiled. "I'm coming home, princess," he whispered. He had imagined this moment hundreds of times. He imagined Lily running toward him. He imagined picking her up. He imagined her arms around his neck. He imagined her saying, "Daddy, you came back." That thought had carried him through some of the hardest nights of his life. Daniel checked the time. 7:18 p.m. He had told his ex-wife, Sarah, that he would arrive around 8. But he didn't tell her exactly when. He wanted to surprise Lily. He wanted her to see him standing at the door. He wanted the moment to be perfect. So Daniel called a taxi. 30 minutes later, he was standing outside the house where his daughter had grown up. He looked at the windows. The lights were on. His heart began beating faster. He could almost hear Lily laughing inside. He walked toward the front door. Then he stopped. Something felt wrong. There were boxes beside the garage. A for sale sign stood in the yard. Daniel stared at it. His smile disappeared. He took out his phone and called Sarah. No answer. He called again. Nothing. Daniel looked at the house. Then he knocked. Once. Twice. A few seconds later, the door opened. But it wasn't Sarah. It was a man Daniel had never seen before. The man looked at him. "Can I help you?" Daniel looked past him. "I'm here to see my daughter." The man's expression changed. "Your daughter, Lily. Lily Carter." The man became uncomfortable. "I'm sorry, but..." Before he could finish, Sarah appeared behind him. She froze. Daniel froze too. For several seconds, neither of them said a word. Then Sarah whispered, "Daniel." He smiled. Surprise. She didn't smile back. And that was the moment Daniel realized that coming home wasn't going to be the way he imagined. Sarah stepped outside and closed the door behind her. Daniel looked at her. She looked different. Not bad, just different. Her hair was shorter. She looked tired, older. Daniel suddenly realized that he had missed 2 years of her life too. But he wasn't there for Sarah. He was there for Lily. "Where is she?" Sarah looked away. "Daniel, where is Lily?" "She isn't here." Daniel frowned. "What do you mean?" "She went to my sister's." "Why?" Sarah took a breath. "Because I didn't know when you were coming." Daniel stared at her. "I told you I was coming home. You told me you were coming back eventually. I sent you my flight information." "I know." "Then why isn't she here?" Sarah didn't answer. Daniel's voice became quieter. "I just wanted to see my daughter." "You will." "When?" "Tomorrow." "Tomorrow." "Yes." Daniel looked at the house. "Can I come inside?" Sarah hesitated. Then she shook her head. "Not tonight." Daniel couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Sarah, I've been gone for 2 years." "I know. I came straight here." "I know. I haven't seen my daughter in 2 years. I know. Then why are you treating me like a stranger? Sarah looked at him. Because a lot has changed while you were gone. Daniel felt something sink inside his chest. He nodded slowly. Okay. He turned around. Sarah called his name. Daniel stopped. I'm sorry. He didn't turn around. I don't need you to be sorry. He walked away. That night, Daniel stayed in a cheap hotel. He placed his military bag on the floor. Then he sat on the edge of the bed. The room was silent. He looked at the photo of Lily on his phone. He whispered, I came back. His eyes filled with tears. But you weren't here. The next morning, Daniel woke up before sunrise. He hadn't slept. He showered, shaved, and put on a clean shirt. Then he bought a small gift, a stuffed golden retriever. Lily had loved dogs when she was little. He remembered her telling him, when I'm older, Daddy, I'm going to have a dog bigger.